what's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, KB watchers, and for this week, the real football fans of New Jersey listeners. What's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome into another episode of the Young Guns podcast. As the title suggests, you're not seeing things. It says episode 1 because you're coming into a brand new season, a brand new era of the Young Guns podcast. We're going to start being a lot more organized with the show. And as you saw by the intro, first time y'all probably ever saw it, we're going to try and step our game up a little bit in terms of presentation. Not just a new era for us, a new era for the Giants as well. We, of course, got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into. Before I get to my co-host, KB, let's first get to the guest. Caitlin, what's up? How you doing? And just general thoughts on Giants victory week so far.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. It's interesting because a lot of people actually call me KB as well, so I'm gonna have to get used to the fact that you're not talking to me. But no, Caitlin is fine. I do go by Caitlin. But yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. My name is Caitlin Brower. I do host the Real Football Fans of New Jersey podcast. I'm so excited. Collaborating with my fellow Giants creators is one of, my favorite things to do. We have an awesome community on Twitter, and I've met so many amazing people. So I'm so happy to be with the two of you guys tonight. I am just rocking this W all week long. It's been a phenomenal week, waking up Monday morning with a Giants victory for the first time in a very long time, going, 1-0 since 2016. So I'm so excited.
First time we're 5. That was the crazy stat that knocked me off, bro. The first time we're 500. I mean, above 500 since 2016. Yeah.
So it's a feeling that a lot of us haven't felt in a while, but I must say this entire week has been absolutely incredible. So I'm excited, and it's, I'm always excited week over week each season, but it just gives you that little bit more of excitement going into Sunday and going into a very winnable game. So yeah, I definitely feeling the W. So.
Go ahead, KB. My co-host, man, first of all, you got a sneak peek before everybody else of the new stuff that we bring into the table. If you want to talk about that first.
Oh, I want to wait until we actually reveal that stuff. I ain't gonna talk about that. Yo, let's wait until they see all that. But listen, as far as how my week is going, it's going fantastic. This is the happiest I've felt in a while as a Giants fan. You guys know I'm in the Florida area. I got a lot of Bucks fans and a lot of Bucks fans in my job. And for the first time in a while, I was able to walk in there and be as confident as they are because we were both 1-0. So extremely excited. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about what we saw in the game and get into next week. But extremely excited.
Let me give a shout out to everybody in the chat. We got everybody in here. I appreciate you guys coming in. Make sure as you're coming in, you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're new, go over to KB, hit his like button, his subscribe button. In the link, I got Caitlin's Twitter account and the link to the Apple podcast. Guys, make sure you check them out. And we got the people in here, Mr. Mini Guy, Vibes, Eli. What's up, my brother from Twitter, man? And I met him in real life. That's just my bro in real life.
Eli's
bro.
the best. He's the best.
Exactly. And we got Ravon in here. We got Ash, another bro. Me and Gio, I'll say Gio for the sake of not confusing people, right? Me and Gio will be heading down week 4 to the Chicago game, and Ash will be there with us. I think it's the first time all 3 of us will meet each other in person. I'm sure that's gonna be a fun time.
That's gonna be a time right there.
Exactly. You're Rajan here. Big Play Slay. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate the support, even though you're an Eagles fan, man. Rob, what's up? And Ravon, what's up, man? How you doing? All right. Before we get into specific topics, now, Caitlin, are you in the New York, New Jersey area, or are you elsewhere?
I'm in New Jersey.
Are you in the part of New Jersey that for some reason has a lot of Eagles fans?
Unfortunately, no. I date an Eagles fan, so that is it's a tough. I know.
I'm gonna keep it real. We might have to kick you off the podcast.
At least you're forgiving. At least you're pretty forgiving. That's a good.
It should be a deal breaker, but we there's rules and regulations inside. Having 2 fan bases date each other, so we are, and we're both diehard. Football.
Do y'all just avoid each other when the Giants Eagles play?
We don't.
What about when you guys play each other?
We don't even. Games we don't even watch together. So, I won't watch the Monday Night Football game for them against Minnesota. We just don't. It's just being in the same room, watching, because it's just you want the other team to lose. So it's those are some rules there. But no, where I am in New Jersey is very much just it's Giants, Jets, and then you're going to have your stragglers across the board. That people, we have a lot of. I think it's because the switch. We have a lot of Rams fans around here, which is random. I think that it's the switch to LA. So it's like being a Lakers fan, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then we have a ton of Cowboys fans. You see them lurking at every
everywhere.
Giants,
They're like
every
roaches.
Giants game, no matter who the Giants are playing. The Giants are opening against Carolina this weekend. There's going to be at least like 50 Cowboys fans just roaming the parking lot. So.
Oh yeah, they're like roaches.
fans.
They're everywhere.
They just roam, and I think they just do it to piss people off. But yeah, mainly Giants, Jets around here. So.
Well, we'll see. Thank God it's not that, because I was with my friend in Jersey like last week, and I was surprised. I'm like, why is there so many Eagles memorabilia? I thought we're in huge. Don't people say the Giants are a Jersey team? Why am I seeing just Eagles every single where I turn?
It
was ridiculous.
It's down south. It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. And then KB, you got your struggles with Tampa Bay over there.
Oh,
but the reason I brought that up is because for the first time in a long time, man, probably also 6 years, I could go around actually bragging a little bit, because
I know.
I don't care what nobody says. We took down the #1 seed in the AFC from last year. You cannot take that away from me.
And all I've been championing was Saquon, because everybody always gets at me with Saquon in my job, talking about, he's washed, he's garbage, he was once was, never will be again.
You have Leonard Fournette, bro. Calm down.
Said, listen, Saquon leads the league in rushing this year right now. All right, leads the league. All right, nobody ever thought that would happen.
KB, before you go more into it, let's get into our first topic, and it is Saquon Barkley.
Finishes off the drive, and the Giants are on the board with 11:16 to go here in the third.
You guys heard him say it. He's that guy. He was hyped after that. I think that was that 2-point conversion. And shout out to the Giants channel for releasing the Sights and Sounds video. I love those because it provides that incredible B-roll that you just saw me use right there, man. And I get to hear, I haven't seen Saquon that hype, that energized in so long. And you see the question right there, Caitlin. I'm going to go to you first. Is he better than ever? One game we know, but is he better than ever in that one game?
I think what we saw on Sunday was, OG Saquon. And it's interesting to call him, just to refer to him as that, because we haven't had him actually that long in the NFL and actually on the Giants. But unfortunately, we've just seen, the downfall in some areas with him. What I must say about Saquon, though, is that he really did put the team on his back this past game. The numbers to go show for it. I think he had the most rushing yards across the entire board this past game. He had his touchdowns. He really has sewed us in with that 2-point conversion. I think my only question, and I can pose the question to the two of you, I don't actually think this is sustainable for the Giants for the entire season. He did everything for us on Sunday, and I'm truly grateful, and I loved it. I loved the energy. That clip you just showed, chills, across my entire body. You love it, and you want to see him come back to what he was, but he can't do everything for us. And unfortunately, I think he did on Sunday. So I would love to hear what
he literally put the team on his back. I feel like he came out in the third quarter and he had the mindset of, I'm not losing this game. I'm making us win.
And that's great. I just don't think he can do that for 17.
Yeah, go ahead, Kate. I'll let you go first.
I completely agree with what Caitlin said. It's not sustainable. Just because on top of that, we know Saquon's injury history. So even though people argue if he's a workhorse guy or not, but with that being set aside, I mean, he does have injury issues. So it's not like we could just lean on him for 17 games in a season, and who knows about playoffs. But yeah, I completely agree with that there. And we definitely have to figure out a way to be more than just one dimensional, right? Just running the ball probably won't get us, very far. I mean, there are some teams that can do it. The Titans being one of them who we just beat, but we have to find a way to be successful in the passing game as well. But as far as the question goes, Saquon Barkley better than ever? I would probably say so. He has experience under his belt. You think about it, probably the best we've seen Saquon Barkley was his rookie year, and that's a rookie. He was a baby. So now he's got a lot more experience. He's been in the NFL. He knows the fast-paced nature of the NFL now, and he's been under multiple schemes. So, and you got to imagine that he's more conditioned than he was in his rookie year, because he's in his fourth year right now, or fifth year right now.
He's playing on the fifth-year option right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say he is better than ever, even after one game. I would say just the experience alone would probably make him better. And you could see it on top of that. In 2018, this guy would not hit the hole as hard as he did in last week's game. Is that me? So
No, that's Mr. Softy.
Oh yeah, he's coming. He's in my complex.
I don't know.
Wait,
I thought
isn't
I
it
was like,
also like
was that my
around
phone?
9
I was
where
like-
you're at? I'm like, Mr. Softy is not
I
that
can't
late,
believe
is
you
it?
guys can hear that. No, yes, it's 9 p.m. and he is coming around
Why is he out that
complex.
late, bro?
I have no idea. It's
Time makes some
new.
overtime, bro.
It's new for him to come around this summer.
What kids
but
are out at that time? Hold up.
well, I gotta say, I shut up when I heard him. So, no, he's been coming around like late recently, and it's just like
I'm not. I'm gonna give. You might have to keep an eye on that, Mr. Softy. That 9 at night. That's a little creepy. I might have to side eye him.
Oh man, yeah.
But yeah,
what is that? I thought I was
Sorry,
hearing
I'm
things.
gonna mute myself.
No,
I'm
you
gonna
good.
have
You good.
to-
You good. Now that I
Yeah,
know what
because
it
it's not
is.
loud. You're fine.
Yeah, now that I
I'm
know
gonna
what
have
it is,
to
I thought I was
agree
hearing things.
with both Gio and K here. I think that it is a better Saquon that we've seen before. Not only because, like you said, Gio, hit the hole harder, but and this is something where I'm like, this is number one running back in the NFL type of material, where it was with a, I think, exception of one run. Every time he got the ball, it was positive yardage, and that wasn't the case even at his former best self, which was 2018. And that's because he actually now he's looking to get those tough runs. It's been a big criticism, and although I think it was overblown at times, it's paid off. Like the way he's taken into it mentally and physically with his body. That man would go up the middle, and on every first down, we're getting 2 yards, 3 yards. There was 4 yards a couple of times, and I'm just like, when you're getting a 3 or 4 yard run from your running back on first down, bro, it makes everything just so much easier. And,
Everything's
and he
manageable.
does that, and he still retains the Saquon Barkley ability of being able to hit that home run at any point in the game. He hit one, that 68-yard run that, a couple plays later was a touchdown, and then he almost hit a second, which was the run up the middle, funnily enough, that 30-something yard one, but I think he tripped up, and then obviously the ball got knocked out of his hand as well. Luckily went out of bounds. Like, that's why you're seeing basically the best of two worlds, which is all that I could hope for with a guy like Saquon Barkley. Like, we Giants fans, we get on Dave Gettleman a lot, but what I saw Sunday was gold jacket material.
Generational. So I completely agree with you there. And, just talking more about him actually, getting inside, running the ball inside in between the tackles, that's something he didn't do in 2018, obviously, because it wasn't his play style coming out as a rookie out of Penn State. He knew what his ability was bouncing out to the outside. He knew how fast he can turn the corner. So he would never rely on running in between the tackle. On top of that, at Penn State, they didn't have a good offensive line to do that. So he was just never he never experienced that before. And then obviously in later years, he was just always hurt and he was trying to avoid injury. We definitely saw that when he would come back from injury and avoid being hit and kind of not play to his full form. So, with those two reasons why he wouldn't run in between the tackles, I'm glad that he's doing it now. He's doing it like better than I expected, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously 164 yards. I don't think any of us really expected him to run like that, but just him running for those 4 yards he would gain on first down. I mean, he was punishing linebackers. Like, he wasn't just evading the hit or just bobbing and weaving. He was actually hitting guys, which is something that we haven't seen from Saquon, especially when he made that push for the 2-point conversion. When he made that run before the touchdown, what led us to a yard short of the end zone. I mean, those are runs that's a big boy run right there. So yeah, he did his progression is great.
Yo, you gotta call the police. Mr. Softy's getting closer and closer to your house.
Honestly, like, he's like in the living. Well, I was muted for a second because I heard someone like scream to their parent that they wanted to get it.
Nah.
So I was like, oh, I was like, oh, great. But no, I think that's a great point. I think to keep in mind, though, like, Saquon really defended himself from, that slant run that he had been doing recently for us. So you're right. It was a relief to finally see him like start actually plowing through people on Sunday, because even if you're right, you're gaining like 4 or 5 yards. Like, that's what we need. The Giants haven't had a running game in so long. So just to see kind of that bulldozing effect is great. But you need to realize too, like Saquon for so long was defending him, trying to like move over this way, not try to go through the middle and like really push people forward. So is that original Saquon kind of come back where he is defending himself, kind of going off to the side? But we'll see. I mean, he wore a bunch of hats on Sunday, so he can, as long as he's delivering, I don't really care what the hell he's doing. So
shout out to a couple people in chat. We got Chris Entertainer in here. What up, Chris? Thank you for showing up and the support, my man. He got Silo Ren in here, Hazelnut, Hilltop Mock. I'm sure there was a couple other people. Oh, Luann and Wolves. What's up, yo? How y'all doing? Let's see if we get a couple questions from the chat or just comments in general as well. AJ Nix, what up, man? He says Giants have to script short yardage plays for Toney to let him create. Oh, I should have read that before because that's addressing another topic we're actually going to address. That I see right here. Somebody else asked what's going on, or can we talk about Kadarius Toney? It's the very next topic. We gonna get there. Trust and believe. We gonna get there. Trust your boy. All right. Your Rod says, can you give your percentage chance of us starting 4-0? I'm thinking 40%. I don't know if that's something I could quantify in terms of a percent, my boy.
I think it's doable.
It's definitely doable,
sure.
And it becomes easier with the Dak injury.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
But
go ahead, Gio. You're looking to say something.
Yeah, because I hate to be I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer or anything like that. But I feel like we wouldn't even have a conversation of us winning the next 3 games if Randy Bullock kicks that field goal and he makes it. You know what I mean? Like, I like, and it wouldn't change the way we played. That was just one play. The difference between winning and losing, and we're 1-0 now. Carolina, I think, is a big possibility. Dallas, even bigger possibility if they stick with Cooper Rush. And then after that is obviously Chicago. It's a good slate of teams to face against. I will say that, but I'm not personally going to talk about 4-0 stuff until we actually win maybe another game. If we go to and face Carolina at home and we actually have like a good win, not like a win that we had this week, because if we have 2 wins where we only win because of the field goal, kicker couldn't make the field goal, then I'll be a little concerned. But if we get a concerning win against Carolina, then maybe we could start talking about 4-0. But I don't know. It's doable, but I don't know. I don't want to jinx the team or anything like that. Yo, Wolves is just going in on me right now.
To be fair, I met you in person and you are like 3 feet tall, bro. It's all right. We respect our short kings out here. We respect our short kings.
Yeah. It's okay.
You good. Go ahead, Kay.
I am the short king. I'm not a short king, but yeah. All right.
Let's see here. Once Saquon turns that corner, he's fast on his way. And there was a funny comment from a member earlier. Rand says the ball going forward out of bounds is part of his talent. Listen, I'm telling you, it's that gold jacket, generational. When I saw him with my eyes, I knew I had to pick him. Material. Y'all think I'm joking out here, man?
I have a question. Yeah. Okay, so you know how for the past 2 or 3 years, since Saquon's been, the not 100% Saquon, the injured Saquon, everybody, I mean, the main topic probably every offseason is Dave Gettleman and that number 2 overall pick, right? In 2018. What's the narrative going to be if Saquon Barkley maintains this level of production and he gets re-signed here and he still plays the way he played last week? Like, he consistently plays like that on that level. Is anybody going to question that? Like the 2018 pick? I'm just saying, what's the narrative going to be? Because, everybody's like against the number 2 overall pick in 2018, right? That's what we all hate Dave Gettleman for or whatever.
I hate the government for a lot of things.
Yeah, I know. But mostly, everybody brings up drafting a running back 2nd overall, in the 1st round. What are people going to say if he keeps this level of production and we re-sign him and he retires as a Giant and he plays fantastic? Are we still going to say he wasn't the right pick at number 2?
No,
or are we going to change our mind?
No, it's the minds will eventually change. It's because that's what the New York, fan base is. It's they ride to the end with someone who gives them Super Bowl rings, who gives them, playoff opportunities, who can eventually get that gold jacket, like you had said. But if you don't, and you give the slightest inkling of question, you're completely thrown, to the curb until you can actually not just turn it around, but turn it around to where you're always on like that. So, and that's just you can argue it for all football fan bases, but just being from, this organization, it's always been like that. So I think if he does turn it and we see it, that's Dave Gettleman's going to have some bright shining spot in his career.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, he already does with Andrew Thomas, and that's a potential.
Yes,
but that was a question mark. People are turning now, like I had just said.
I'll say
a huge question mark.
Not on this show. Yeah, not on this show. Me and Kush loved Andrew Thomas from the beginning.
I used to do.
He did struggle. He had his struggles.
He did. I used to do a series called "We Need to Talk," and the very first video in that series was about Andrew Thomas's rookie year, where I'm like, his struggles weren't even struggles you could blame him for, because he had the injury on his foot that we didn't know about until after the season. He went to basically 3 offensive line coaches, 2 official ones, and then we know at one point Joe Judge was coaching the offensive line. And then I do think, as an offensive lineman, the way the guy next to you performs, affects you heavily. Yeah. And he was performing next to one of the worst offensive lines we've seen in the past 5 years. And I did a whole bunch of comparisons specifically to his draft mates, and I'm like, a lot of people think that Tristan Wirfs is the best tackle out of this draft, and he's a great tackle, don't get me wrong, but he's playing with Tom Brady at quarterback, which also helps. Andrew was playing with an inexperienced Daniel Jones. Tom Brady knows how to manipulate the pocket more, get the ball out faster, basically make his linemen look good as well. And in his rookie year, Tristan Wirfs played with what was the best offensive line in football. So I was like, he had some faults, I can't deny, but that man did the best he could. And I would like, the main point of that video was, he's not going to be the best tackle throughout all of college football and then all of a sudden fall off when he gets to the Giants. And I'm so glad that, knock on wood, if he stays healthy, he's looking like he's going to get his flowers here, man. Shout out to Taylor. It didn't pop up in the StreamYard yet, but I got the stream pulled up on my other screen for the $2.38 super chat. He says 1 cent for every yard we rush Sunday.
I've never seen an odd like a
non-even donation with some cents on it.
Right. I've never seen that before. That's pretty cool. And besides like the 99, or you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. I didn't even know you can do that.
So before we get into the next topic, which will be, I kind of mentioned quarterbacks. Y'all peep how I did the segue. Is there anything else y'all want to say to wrap up the Saquon topic?
No, I'm good.
I think we
keep
could all
balling,
agree.
Saquon. That's all I gotta say. Keep
balling. Continue balling.
I am
Don't
wearing his shirt,
yourself.
so I did come to.
I should have wore his jersey. I should have wore the jersey. Sorry.
It was so great. Me and KB, it wasn't even planned. Like, we were both wearing our Saquon jerseys, and I was like, I have a Blake Martinez jersey still. I don't know what I'm gonna do with
that's
that.
Tough.
Right, and then I got a Kenny Galladay jersey. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. Like, what am I gonna do with a Kenny Galladay jersey, yo?
Yeah, come on. I have jerseys are a tough subject with me, so I just, yeah.
So let's get into the next comment. He played fairly well on Sunday. Had 1 or 2 mistakes. Overall, let's talk about Daniel Jones.
Yards! Welcome back for that Achilles. The longest tenured Giant has Big Blue within an extra point of tying this game up.
Boy, so good to see that. Good protection there.
And of course, as the clip just showed, not this Daniel Jones, we could get into the offense in general, because a thing that a lot of Giants fans were looking forward to, considering we were going from Jason Garrett to one of the most highly touted offensive coordinators turned head coaches for us, and then Mike Kafka, a guy that came from one of the best offenses in the league, being our offensive coordinator. Let's start off with Kalen once again. Your thoughts on Daniel Jones in the season opener?
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't apparent in previous seasons, it was apparent on Sunday. When you give Daniel Jones time in the pocket, he doesn't have the nickname Danny Dimes for no reason. He can launch that ball. He can land it in anyone's hands. That long pass of his is so beautiful. And again, he didn't get that nickname for no freaking reason. So I think what I struggled with too is, getting the ball popped out was definitely not great to see. And then the interception, that was the interception in the end zone was just mind-boggling to kind of what was going on through his mind. But I did like and we'll talk, I know we're going to talk about Dable a little bit later. I like that everyone took ownership of that, mistake. It wasn't just like, I think in the past, people will baby Daniel Jones a little bit and like, oh, he's still learning. Oh, he's got a shitty offensive line. Like, no, that was his fault. Like, that was a very awful pass into what turned into an interception. And it was apparent, and I think it was owned. And then we went on to go and win the game. So, I think that there was a lot of trust in him to get that 2-point conversion. It was him to Saquon right into the end zone. So if he didn't play well all game and there was no trust there, we wouldn't have gone for 2, I don't think. Brian Dable's a very smart guy. He's got a lot of balls, I think, to go for 2, but he's also, he gets it. He gets the game of football. What I'd love to see for Daniel Jones a little bit more is, he's got to hold on to that ball. I'm shocked we're still talking about this. I don't think that's going to be the end all be all for him. But also as well, with his line, I think it was in it's interesting, the preseason, and I get it's preseason, he had so much time in the pocket every game. And it's not for preseason for me. I'm not looking at scores. I'm really looking at like critical plays and really looking at people, even like the one step they take to the right. When I'm looking at that, that's what I'm seeing. I did see, interior line. I get that. I think that's a great point, that comment that just came through. I just think the offensive line actually looked a little bit slow to start. And I think they weren't giving him his time, and he was making critical decisions like right away. And those critical decisions, I guess every other one was okay. So all of that said, I know it was a bit of a ramble. I would say that he did okay in the opener. And I'm excited to kind of see how he grows up in 1 week. So... And I think it'll be up. So
I got a couple of bros in the chat real quick. Pest was good. Authentic was good. How you doing? And I think I saw another member pop in. Am I tripping? I guess I was tripping. Oh no, Edward is there. What up, Edward? How you doing as well? Just have
Antonio
to say shout
too
out to those
from
guys real quick.
Breaking
Oh
Tackles.
yeah, Antonio. It says Antonio.
Yeah,
that's why
cool
I
play
kinda
on
looked over
words.
it. Yeah, cool play on words. Go ahead, KB.
I will say, like, just pulling up like the all 22 of this game, Daniel Jones is probably like one of the most frustrating guys to watch because I like Daniel Jones. I've defended Daniel Jones for years. There are some things that he does and I'm like, yo, that is such a great throw, a great play. And then sometimes I'm like, what were you doing? Like, what were you thinking there? It's so like hit or miss. It could be like from one play to another, like completely different players.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say, 100, I think it was like 188 yards passing. I'm not too worried about that because we did run the ball a lot and we kind of focused on that. So I don't really care about the number. He was very accurate, extremely accurate. The interception, a lot of people, that's a huge controversy, that interception. I personally believe it was the right read, just the bad timing. I thought he threw it way too late, and that's why it was picked off the way it was. But I thought Daniel Jones played well as well. There were a lot of plays where I was extremely impressed. A lot of people talk about that Sterling Shepard touchdown being underthrown. I don't believe that whatsoever.
It was not.
He had pressure.
I've watched it 1,000 times.
He had pressure in his face, and he launched that ball off his back foot, and it was still a perfect spiral, perfect teardrop. And Sterling Shepard didn't. People act like Sterling Shepard had to stop for the ball, like Tyreek waiting for the Tua pass, but that wasn't the case whatsoever. Sterling Shepard had to stop a bit, but he didn't completely stop. He had to slow down a bit, but it was off his back foot. Daniel Jones threw a perfect
How
pass
often
in the
do you
bucket.
see a receiver or a tight end running with the football into the end zone?
Yeah.
That doesn't. You have to. The
Right.
human body naturally stops, pivots, grabs, goes. It's not.
Yeah. And it was a fantastic throw. I loved the throw, and there was some throws that kind of went under the radar a little bit. His throws in RPOs, when he was doing RPOs, extremely accurate, fitting it into a tight window. He had that whip route to Wan'Dale Robinson, Wan'Dale's only catch where he got hurt for that first down. He had to evade pressure. He pumped he got out the pocket, pumped at Jeffrey Simmons, who is huge, had no fear, and just zipped the ball to Wan'Dale Robinson in the tightest space. Like, there are some plays where he makes that are just fantastic throws. And I think the biggest problem I have with Daniel Jones, especially from watching this game, one is pocket presence, and two is sometimes reading the defense. But when it comes to like his ability to make the throw, he has it, man. He has it. They call him Danny Dimes for a reason. A lot of people think that that's just some made up BS nickname.
Listen,
there's a reason why he's one of the best.
Accuracy was never his problem.
There's a reason why he's one of the best
for him.
deep ball throwers in the NFL. And that's not disputable. He doesn't take much shots down the field because of the offenses that were put in a lot. And we don't really get as much opportunities. But when he does throw the ball down the field, he is efficient as hell. And let me tell you right now, I don't think I've ever seen Daniel Jones throw a wobbly football. I don't think I've ever seen it. Even the interceptions he throws are like
Like
tight,
nice
the
passes.
tightest spirals ever. You know, and listen, this is nothing against my boy Eli. I love Eli. Everybody knows I love me some Eli.
Eli
But
had some ugly balls, yeah.
Eli threw some ducks, even if they were accurate. Like even if it got to the receiver, he threw some wobbly passes. And Daniel Jones does not throw wobbly. He throws tight spirals, even if it's to the defender. But yeah, his issue is not passing. I didn't see that at all in this game. But yeah, I think he was good. I think he was good in the open. I think that's the perfect word that you put there at the in the caption. Good is the perfect word. I don't think he was great, and I don't think he was terrible like some people keep saying that he was, just because he threw for 188 yards. People don't realize, his actual
we
play.
had like 238 yards rushing.
Exactly,
so, like,
exactly. People see the stat line, 188 yards. That's nothing. He didn't score anything for me in fantasy. So
and don't have him on your fantasy team.
Yeah, right. So I just stay
what went
healthy
wrong
and
for
he'll
you?
be all right. Yeah, if it just stay healthy and he'll be all right.
Yeah.
So I highlighted quite a few comments. I'm not sure if you guys were able to catch any. It's okay if you didn't because you were in the middle of giving your take. But is there any comment that caught your eye that you'd like to expand upon or respond to?
I had just made the interior offensive line. I had called that out.
Let me see if I could go back up. Do you remember who said it?
Amazing guy, I think that it was
amazing
just pretty.
Guy.
He also said his best play was picking out that fourth. Well, I mean, that was a good play. That was a rollout, right? And that was a rollout to the left.
I think it was just saying that. Oh yeah, the interior O-line is a train wreck with pass blocking.
But
to be fair, I was just gonna say, to be fair, in Daniel's defense, the interior O-line was like
so bad,
horrendous in pass blocking.
The sack fumble,
O-line,
I can't blame him too much on that sack fumble, but you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the entire O-line was good with run blocking. You know what I'm saying? Like they were pretty damn good with run blocking, but for some reason, and I guess it's because Josh Ezeudu is a better run blocker than he is pass blocker, very similar to Shane Lemieux. John Feliciano, I'm still not too sure about. You know what I'm saying? And then we got Mark Lewinsky, who actually I expected more out of Mark Lewinsky. That's just me. Like I said, I'm not too much of an X's and O's guy, but just looking at the game on Saturday, I was like, I expected a little bit better. But
got pushed.
In Daniel Jones's fairness and just the passing offense as a whole, the interior O-line definitely was a step.
You know who surprised me? You know who surprised me? John Feliciano. John Feliciano was pretty damn good, and especially in run blocking. I didn't see too much. What about the perfect segue into the next topic? But John Feliciano did a pretty damn good job. He was responsible for one of Saquon's bigger runs out there, pulling as a interior lineman on the outside. He did great. Feliciano did what impressed me a lot, especially that he was, had to help out. He had to help out with Ezeudu a lot because Ezeudu and Bredesen were struggling, but Ezeudu, man, welcome to the NFL, bro. I hope it only gets up from here, man, because this man, I don't think it's like he forgot that he had hands. I don't think I think he forgot that he had hands, Josh Ezeudu. He had a pretty not good game. He did all right in the run blocking game, but pass blocking, I mean, he was just a complete liability. Andrew Thomas had to help him out sometimes as well. But as far as the interior goes, Mark Lewinsky didn't play terribly, but when you face against like Jeffrey Simmons, on the times that he did go up against Jeffrey Simmons, it wasn't pretty, and that's to be expected, to be honest with you. Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best D tackles in the league, and he's right up there with the top ones. But as far as the tackles go, Evan Neal progressed.
Perfect comment that I brought up right here.
Yes, Evan Neal progressed great. I thought with the competition that he was facing, I don't know who's 92 on the Tennessee Titans. I don't know who that is. When I was watching him, he jumped off the screen. His get off was so quick, and Evan Neal was able to kind of slow him down a little bit. Now, I think his stat was he allowed 2 pressures, 0 sacks. I believe Evan Neal allowed.
And like we said,
that's perfectly fine.
Our boy Andrew Thomas is finally getting some recognition, and now it's turn for the NFL to give him that recognition. And Madden, I won't be playing your game anymore. It's because you got this dude ranked at like a 76 overall or something crazy like that. Like, did you watch games last year?
Nah, Antonio, Bud Dupree is different. 92 is somebody else, but Bud Dupree you could see because he got the dreadlocks. But yeah, Bud Dupree is 48.
Bud Dupree was a non-factor because of the man that I have on the screen right now.
Yeah, you didn't hear too much of Bud, except when Bud Dupree would stunt inside and like sneak right through Azudu or sneak right through Bredesen. But yeah, my man Andrew Thomas handled business, bro.
Yeah.
There was a play. I think it was the sack. It was that dagger concept, and I think it was one of the sacks. Andrew Thomas completely just took Bud Dupree out the play. Didn't even have great technique. He grabbed the other guy. He grabbed the defender's hands and just pushed him away, like almost out the screen. And this is all 22. Like you can't go out the screen from all 22. And he completely threw him out of the play. Andrew Thomas was fantastic. You know, despite the struggles of the rest of the offensive line, you can be sure that Thomas is that guy. Thomas is that guy.
Okay, go ahead. And then there's two questions / comments from the chat that I want us to address specifically. But go ahead though.
Yeah, I think that, you know, what's positive about the line that we have out there right now. I know a ton of people were, you know, someone just had listed all the people that are coming back potentially in a couple of weeks, and I think it'll really stand out then. What's good of what we have right now is actually a couple of the players are versatile. So if we are seeing some gaps still, we can move people around. I think this Giants, you know, this new, you know, offensive scheme, we're not going to be scared to, you know, I think of someone like Eric Flowers that they just refused to bench him for some reason. He was just so god awful. But there was people that could have, you know, you could have moved him over on another side. You could have done this. You know, I think with the guys that are on the field right now, I think that, you know, they kind of warmed up a bit throughout the game on Sunday. I think if we're still seeing some gaps again, you can move them. I think of a guy like Evan Neal. I've been following him for years. I'm a huge Alabama fan, so I know how versatile he is. I know how light he is on his toes. You know, you have a combo with him and Andrew Thomas.
Listen, we got the best young tackle duo in the league. Do you agree?
Yeah. I really do. So I think that's the one. Yeah.
I see people in the chat like Tana saying, is it crazy for me to say that he's approaching all pro level of play? I don't think so, because my prediction was by year's end, I think he'll be at all pro level play. And that's crazy because it's year 3. He probably still has more he could go to. So I would hope to God we lock him up.
I forgot where the ranking came. Maybe it's PFF. That Andrew Thomas is the 3rd ranked offensive tackle out past week 1. You know, after week 1.
I love it. Let me get these 2 super chats before they disappear. First one is from an Eagles fan. Shout out to Bobby Murphy for the $2 super chat. You might be trashing the team, but you
really paid $2 to say the Giants suck.
He says, "What up, guys? Calm down. The Giants still suck." Bobby, you calm down. Y'all barely beat the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, okay? Bobby.
And then shout out to Giants World for the 1999 super chat, $20. Thank you, my man. He says, "No more hot Cheetos mac and cheese, hub. They're on me, Brody." Oh, that's Don. Don, my man. Yo, I haven't had a chance to go over to Don's place. Don is the best cook I know in real life. This man is just the best cook I know. I don't know how he does it,
don't want you eating hot Cheetos mac and cheese anymore, bro.
Nah, I'm gonna go over to his house to eat, bro. Like, if you're gonna prevent me from eating my hot Cheetos mac and cheese, then I'm coming over to your crib, man. But thank you so much, Don. I appreciate the support. The 2 comments I want to get from chat. Let me see if I could get up here. First one, off topic, but definitely a concern. Deedon, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. He says Aaron Robinson is hurt. Our secondary is anorexic. Azeez and Kayvon may not be ready to go this week. Huge concerns. What do you guys say? Go ahead.
I don't think so. I think we played a better team with the Tennessee Titans. I think we allowed for them to go up and down the field. So I don't think the Panthers are of their stature. So Aaron Robinson, I understand the injury. It's actually, I don't think it's that detrimental to what I've seen. I could be wrong though. I get it on the secondary. Funny enough though, with Azeez and Kayvon, you know, being out, at one of the down points of the game on Sunday, I guess it was one of the points where I was very upset with the Giants, whatever they were doing. I actually literally sat there to myself and was like, you know, if Kayvon was in this game, would it be such a, you know, completely different story? And unfortunately, no, like, I don't think it would. And even with Azeez too, I'm a big Azeez fan. I think he's done, you know, amazing thing for the Giants. I think they'll
shout out to the dogs, Andrew Thomas and Azeez.
Man. Oh no, get out of here. Roll Tide. But I don't think our secondary is anorexic. I don't really like that analogy either.
Well, what does that mean?
Like it's skinny, it's thin.
Oh, it's thin.
Oh,
but,
that's
the
the
eating
first time I
disorder.
heard that.
yeah, I'm not really a fan of that analogy. But I just don't. I have no concerns going into week 2, and what was just written out there. Those are not concerns to me.
Go ahead, KB.
Yeah, as far as the secondary goes, if Aaron Robinson, I think he's already ruled out, right? Is he already ruled out?
He might be, but again, I don't think it's something that we need to be. Let me look it up.
I don't know, because then the Fear the Flock campaign has to start a little early this year, and I don't know how that'll go. But I mean, and honestly, the receivers are a little better going into this week. But I really would have liked if at least one of the players, Azeez or Kayvon, play this week, because we are facing a terrible offensive line, and I would love one of those guys to just dominate. You know, Azeez had one of his best games against the Carolina Panthers last season.
I think it was his best game.
He had 2.5 sacks in that game.
And I just highlighted a comment about they expect Leonard Williams, or they think Leonard Williams would need to have a big game. Leonard Williams had his best game against the Carolina Panthers as well last year.
And with the thing is, I think what they're doing, this could be because they were playing Derrick Henry, but they played a lot of Leonard Williams in 5 technique, so they're going very big on the offensive line. On the defensive line. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing this week, but O'Shane Ximines had a decent game. Jihad Ward held his own. He did a good job. So I'm with Caitlin on this.
Jihad Ward surprised me, man.
He did great. I'm with Caitlin on this, where I'm not concerned about going against Carolina, because, to be honest with you, their offensive line is weaker. I think we'll be able to do. I think we can have a better week even with Jihad Ward and Ximines there. I think we can have a better week at getting to the quarterback, because we only had 1 sack, and that 1 sack wasn't even a sack. The sack that Timon Fox had, Tannehill was running out and trying to get some yardage, and he was tackled right at the line of scrimmage. I don't think that was a sack. I think that was a rush. But that's neither here nor there. But I think we could actually get some good pass rush going and actually get some sacks and actually kill some drives in this week, even with O'Shane and Jihad Ward. Jihad Ward and O'Shane, they both, I don't know if this is going to be a permanent thing, like even when Azeez and Kayvon are there, but they both went back in coverage a lot. Like even sometimes it was both of them that went back into coverage and we rushed 3 guys. So I don't know if that's going to be the same thing this week. Things could change on a week-to-week basis, but I'm actually this is crazy for me to say, I'm actually pretty comfortable with Jihad Ward and O'Shane there. If you would have told me that 2 months ago, I'd have been like, hell no. But I'm okay with it right now. I'm okay with it. And yeah, as far as Aaron Robinson goes, I'm a bit concerned because Aaron Robinson held his own last week. I had no complaints, but we'll see what happens with Cordell Flott if he winds up in the lineup.
The next thing I was going to ask is, you guys see the past couple comments I highlighted, and we're coming off the Jihad Ward sort of topic. This was a defense that stepped up incredibly. You know, you talking about O'Shane Ximines, a guy that I'm not going to lie, I was against him making the depth chart over Christian Roche. I understand he did a great job at setting the edge. So did Jihad Ward. He used his size, and he doesn't look like, is he like 285 or something? He doesn't look like that, yo. So he used his size really well. Are you expecting something similar in terms of setting the edge and just performance from the D-line this game? Because I do think that Christian McCaffrey is, if he's going to beat us, it's going to be through the passing game, like we saw with Dontrell Hilliard, the second running back for the Tennessee Titans. He was running wild and running free on us.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, going into this game, you really need to look at into the details, or actually watch the film on what we did against Derrick Henry. We were able to stop him every which way, which I think is, and it was apparent right from the start. We were stopping him immediately. And that was something I tweeted out right away. I was like, the Giants have a couple other things to fix right now, but we're really good with stopping Henry right now. To your point, though, of using McCaffrey in, kind of the pass area, I actually don't think they're going to. I look at what, he had 1 touchdown last week. He had 10 carries. Maybe they might try to, mix things up. I just think that from him and his stature, he is that, I'm blanking on like the phrase right now, but like if you look at Derrick Henry, like he's that type of running back. Like Christian McCaffrey for me isn't gonna, get the ball, 100 yards down the field and running for a touchdown. Like I don't think they're gonna feel comfortable doing with him because they already have Robbie Anderson too, and he's gonna do everything like that there. So they're not gonna throw, especially their only basically running back, into the secondary on that one. So I'm not particularly nervous about that. I think they're gonna use him as their RB1, and I think the Giants are in a really good position to stop him from moving that far up the field. So, because you got to mimic what you did last weekend, maybe take like 100 pounds off the person that you're pushing back. So
I would disagree slightly because if there's anything that the opposing team would see that we had trouble defending, it was passing out the backfield. Not necessarily the same type of passes that Hilliard had. I agree with you. You have Robbie Anderson. He's a deep threat. But coming out the backfield, we don't have anybody that could stick on CMC right now. At least not anybody healthy that could stick on CMC. I'm a big Daquartavius Crowder fan. You guys know this. He's the best Mr. Irrelevant pick in recent history. But Mr. Crowder, I don't think you could stick with CMC through these routes. They might have to just bring down
Xavier. He didn't stick with Hilliard.
Yeah, they might have to bring down Xavier and have, I guess, Julian take the spot.
Well, Julian's playing single high.
Yeah, he's playing single high.
It's gonna be a mismatch, and this is what I wanted to get into too, talking about CMC. Because I guess the best way to kind of compare what we're going to see with CMC as far as defense goes is how the Giants game plan for Dontrell Hilliard. Obviously, we're probably going to pay more attention to CMC than we did Dontrell Hilliard. But the way that the Titans used Hilliard, they knew every time Giants ran a lot of man. They mixed up zone and man pretty often, which I liked. But every time they ran man, obviously you can identify it quickly at the line. And
wait, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt. Dave Belton is back?
He didn't play last week, this week, but
that's what I'm saying. Like Chris is saying that he's back.
He's probably back. He was on the injury report, I think a full participant.
Okay, we'll see how that develops.
I could be wrong about that. Yeah,
because he had a really good offseason.
Yeah. Belton should be back in the lineup. Yeah. And so I honestly I will put Belton I will put CMC on Belton if he plays. But yeah, like what we saw with Hilliard. So what the Titans would do was every time they saw a man defense, they would just like target Hilliard because Tay Crowder was on him, or Austin Calitro in that first touchdown that was given up. There was one play in particular where it was really smart, which if the Panthers do this, then we got a problem. So what they did was there was a big play that Hilliard made. He only had 3 catches. 2 were touchdowns. 1 was a regular catch that had a huge chunk yardage. That one catch was Hilliard was lined up as a receiver, and they put Robert Woods as a running back. And so that made Adoree Jackson take Robert Woods, and it took Adoree Jackson out to play. And it was one-on-one with Tay Crowder, and Tay Crowder could not hang at all. So if they do the same thing with CMC, this is going to be a long game. So I like Tay Crowder. I agree with you. He's probably the best Mr. Irrelevant player ever because he actually is playing. But I don't think he's good. I think Michael McFadden needs to get in there, get in that lineup, not take his spot, take Austin Calitro's spot because Calitro was god awful. So if we want to get a chance to stop CMC, we got to put Micah McFadden and Tay Crowder in there. And I think they're going to be fine because Micah McFadden can shoot them gaps and Tay Crowder can lay the boom a bit. So I love me some Micah. Yo, Ash, watch your mouth, Ash. Listen, Micah McFadden.
Darian Beaver is better.
Well, he took Darian Beaver's number, so
that's
there's
disrespectful.
that.
I don't know why he took his number, yo.
Because he's better. He's just that guy.
Stop it. We don't speak lies on this show. I need you to stop.
Yo, I didn't even know he changed his number until I started watching the film, and I said 41. I said, this man's wearing 41 now?
Thank you, Ash. That's insane. That's me personally.
Why is that insane?
I'm Darian Beavers,
you know what? You guys are just
trying to allow him to take my number.
Trying to get a rise out of me, and I'm not going to let you today, okay? I'm going to be calm. I'm going to be calm, cool, and collected, all right?
Word?
Yeah. That's what
all right. If you say so, man.
I'm going to let Micah McFadden speak for himself on game day. All right?
See, that's what you tell people.
Do you have an opinion on the Micah McFadden versus Darian Beavers debate?
No.
Not.
Word. All right.
Sometimes I just sit out. Sometimes.
Yeah, I may take it a little seriously than I should, but it's all right.
What up, Silo? Yeah, Barkley was given Offensive Player of the Week, which I appreciate. Thank you, NFL. But they
What about ground
disrespected him
player?
by not
Yeah.
even nominating him for the ground player of the
We
week. And I'm like, he had the
just
most
spoke
rushing
about
yards.
that on my show before this.
Yeah.
That was like our ending segment.
Like, how?
Yeah, it
How?
just such a slap in the face. But I loved
No.
the Twitter
Yeah.
when they were asking for people to vote. There was even
I think
non-Giants
somebody
fans.
ratioed the NFL account with Where's Barkley. I think somebody ratioed the NFL
It
account.
just
Yeah.
all went like underneath it, and there was non-Giants fans in there. It was just the entire tweet thread was just Saquon. Where's Saquon? You know, where? So that was mind-boggling. So
Yeah. So I think there was something else I wanted to say before I get into the next topic real quick. Was it that the Saquon thing? Oh yeah. No disrespect to Nick Chubb, because I like Nick Chubb as a running back.
Mhm.
But how do you have a guy that has less yards and 0 touchdowns on the list, but you don't have a guy that strained his back? I'm gonna tell you all a secret. I called up Saquon this morning, bro. He told me he had the icy hot on it. He had a couple ice packs. He had to go see a chiropractor. Listen, the back is damn near broken, Mike Tyson style.
Listen,
all right.
Listen, how do you not nominate the guy for ground player of the week that leads the league in rushing right now?
yeah,
How do you not do that? It's the first week
It's
of the
okay.
season. He leads the league in
Saquon
rushing.
comeback player of the year run. All right. He's like I don't think there's anybody else
He's
that's gonna
definitely
win
the
comeback
front
player of
runner
the
right
year.
now.
Well, Chubb was funny because Kareem Hunt was taking basically more
Kareem
snaps
Hunt
than
was
him.
like outplaying him. So
Yeah.
what is it? He had more yard. Nick Chubb had more yard, but Kareem Hunt was a huge
He
part.
was, like
And so you're talking about Nick Chubb had a lot of rest. Okay, Saquon was just doing it all himself.
yeah.
Exactly. So let's get to the next one. We talked about them a little briefly. Gonna get into them way more now. This game, more than anything, showed how much coaching.
In his coaching debut with the New York Football Giants, has come to Nashville and beaten the Titans 21-20.
That's my guy, Brian Dable. That's my guy.
Coaching
Dabes.
matters, yo. Like, this is specifically, I want to start off with defense. This defense was not supposed to be that good. This is a defense, we talked about it. Jihad Ward and O'Shane Zimenez stepped up tremendously, and they deserve credit. But so does Don Wink Martindale. Let's not forget, when we signed these guys, Ravens fans were out here like crapping on him as if he didn't lead them to like back-to-back best defenses in the NFL, 2 years, 3 years in a row. Like, there was a lot of people saying that, oh, he's not going to adjust. I had faith. I'm like, he's got to adjust. That's the reason he was fired from the Ravens in the first place, because he didn't change the style of coaching he had when they were missing players because of their injuries. And thank God he did, because like I said, credit to the players, but that's coaching as well, to get these guys to be in that position. And credit to Brian Cox, the linebackers coach, who had our linebackers looking real tough out there. This defense is so stripped down, so injured. I'm like so many flowers to Wink, and like I said, Brian Cox, and whoever else, because I don't know the coaching staff off my head, all the position coaches, but everybody gets a big just thank you from me. Go ahead, guys.
I think this the secondary. Well, I want to talk about the coaching in general. The coaching was fantastic. I've always been a fan. I've always been envious of teams that use like their offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, put them in the booth. I always thought that was a fantastic idea. Although a lot of people say, "Oh, you don't get the face-to-face interaction and stuff like that." I don't care. I want you to see everything. I want you to see everything. Have you guys ever been like even to like a high school football game? Or any sort of game, you don't see much when you're standing straight on the sideline.
No.
There's not much you can see. You can't see like the formation. You can't see where everybody's lined up at consistently. When you're in the booth, you're able to see that. Mike Kafka in the booth is a huge step in the right direction for me, and I think it brings a little bit more of a new school approach to how we do things, and something that's very fresh and new for this franchise. I like it a lot. Shouts out to Wink Martindale, and the defense did a lot despite probably being outmatched a lot on the field as far as like personnel goes. They did a lot holding their own. The secondary played well. Shout out to this. Who's our secondary coach?
It's the guy from the Falcons. I'm forgetting his name for some reason, but he was the Falcons secondary coach.
Jerome Henderson?
I think it is Jay Henderson. Because when we got him from the Falcons, I was like, you talking about AJ Terrell's former coach, bro? I'll take that. I love AJ Terrell.
I believe it was Jerome. I could be wrong about that. Maybe I'm messing.
Brian Cox, the very same Brian Cox that played in the NFL. The way our linebackers played looked like he was out on the field. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, well yeah, the way that Tate Crowder laid the boom on
exactly.
Derrick Henry, but
that was amazing.
Hats off to the secondary, because whether it was zone whether it was zone or man, they actually they held their own. They played pretty well. They knew their assignment. The only problem I had, they would get out schemed a little bit when the receivers would play stacks and they play man defense. They would get confused a lot, and that's normal. That's stuff you see. That's just a mismatch. But besides that, I didn't have too much problems with the secondary. I thought there was going to be holes everywhere, guys missing assignments and stuff like that, and guys just being outmatched and outplayed because, you talk about Aaron Robinson. We talked about him in the preseason, how he may be a liability. I didn't even notice Aaron Robinson the whole entire time I was watching. Even watching the game, we didn't notice too much about Aaron Robinson. That's a good thing because he wasn't a problem. He wasn't allowing catches. He was doing his job and not being targeted.
Jerome Henderson was hired under Joe Judge, but we kept him. He's still on the roster.
Yeah, yes.
I'm pretty sure we kept him because they think that he was doing a good job. Remember, he helped X have that great second year as well, even though a lot of that Xavier McKinney is just a great player. And shout out to the assistant defensive backs coach, Michael Trayer. I have no idea where he's from, but, shouts out deserved.
So I think the position coach of the week is definitely Jerome Henderson, how he had that secondary ready.
And Andre Patterson, that was somebody that I loved when I hired because I thought he was the best defensive line coach in the entire NFL, coming from Minnesota. And what really sold me on him was the sadness that the Minnesota D lineman Daniil Hunter felt when this coach got let go. Like, this man he acted as if like it was a family member, and I'm like, that's showing me good things because, like we said, the D line did good as well. But go ahead, Kate.
No, I mean, 100% I agree, with the previous thoughts. Like, what I wanted to bring to tonight's discussion was the idea of, Kafka being in the booth and calling plays from there. I also love the fact that Dable's not calling the plays. I think that's a big step for the New York Giants because it gives him the opportunity to actually coach. The team. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we haven't seen, in a while. And you see kind of the while it maybe was good when the season started, you kind of every other season you saw it just dwindle down and just completely go spiral out of control. And actually that's kind of what we saw for, this past couple seasons, that the team did kind of spiral and there was no control across the field. You didn't know what was going on. There was no ownership from things. I brought up ownership before because in the past, that idea of going over on the sideline, Dable going up to Daniel Jones and reprimanding him for that interception, we've never seen that before. Coaches get mad maybe at other players. You should have got that. Maybe you missed that. But for some reason, you've never seen that actual anger yelling at someone. And this isn't a baby sport. Like, grow up. If you're making mistakes, you need to own them. And if you can't have your coach yell at you and you can't deal with that, you shouldn't be playing in the NFL. So I'm loving because Dable has the time to do that. He has the time to coach. And that what we're trying to do offensively right now, we're really reinventing our offensive scheme. You need to be at the top looking like you had mentioned, KB. You really need to look across the entire field to get that bird's eye view of it, to really understand. So I'm loving that. From a defensive standpoint, I do think we played well. I love Wink, but I must say, I thought we were gonna be a little bit more explosive defensively.
I agree.
I think that, at late in the game, we rushed Ryan Tannehill, and guess what? We still didn't fucking get him. And I'm sorry, this is an explicit podcast, right? Sorry.
Yeah, we're good. You're good.
Once you're 30 minutes in, it's fine. YouTube doesn't care.
Okay. So I always have to check when I'm on. Yeah, so I really thought we were going to have some more there. And, is it the play calling? Is it the players? I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to have to kind of see as this unfolds because there's a lot of newness going on with the New York Giants right now. So there's a lot of questions that we need to answer, as ourselves, as we're watching, each and every game. And I think, too, just like along the, I love Leonard Williams. I love the excitement he brings to the team. I think he looked a little slow on Sunday. He was chasing Ryan Tannehill around a little bit, and you could tell that that's not his,
He also looked like he got bigger.
Yeah,
he did.
And that could be good for us in certain ways. But he did definitely seem a little bit slow. And I know we're talking about coaches, but it did just tie into my factor of I think that we could have been more explosive. Ryan Tannehill to me is one of the most mediocre quarterbacks in the league. The fact that he was able to put off as many passes as he did, and we couldn't even take him to the ground. Like you said before, that I don't even know if that was a sack. Like it wasn't.
It wasn't a sack. I don't like shout out to Timon Fox, but that wasn't a sack, buddy.
Yeah. So
thank you, bro.
I think going into that defense is actually something I'm very looking forward to this weekend, because I actually want to kind of peel back the layers on it a little bit more. So,
yeah, I was glad we weren't too explosive, because like you said, even though we did it towards the end, it wasn't getting home. And I'm sure that even with or without blitzes, once we have both of our rushers back, I'm saying maybe around week 5 or so, because I remember the original timeline for Kayvon when he first got injured was somewhere around week 4. So I'm going to be safe. I'm going to say week 5, we have both of them back. We don't know what's up with Aziz. I'm sure we could get to the quarterback then. And if we can't, then I'm actually worried, because I want my man Aziz to take a huge step forward after having a great rookie year. And Kayvon's the 5th overall pick. Like, this man, you better be getting to the quarterback as the 5th overall pick. Let me see. Yo, shout out to Abrar. If you guys are liking the stream, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share it out. Make sure you subscribe to KB, and make sure you check out the links in the description for the real football fans of New Jersey. Go ahead, Gio.
Yeah, I just want to touch on a couple of good points that she made. As far as not bringing pressure a lot, I hope it's because of who we were up against. We were up against Derrick Henry. They probably wanted to make sure we stopped the run and not send a lot of pressure. And that could be, I could be completely wrong about it. And I noticed the same thing. Watching, I'm like, man, I feel like, it's Wink Martindale. We're expecting guys to just be going after the quarterback, just get into him. But I don't know if they just wanted to start slow because it's the first week of the season or whatever the case may be. So I hope that gets better throughout the season. And another thing with Leonard Williams that I agree with you on as well, he looked a little slow. I think it was because he was lined up as the defensive, the 5 technique, the defensive end outside the tackle. That's not really his best position. I think they did that because they're trying to go heavy on the front and make sure Henry doesn't get by. I assume that's why as well, because he doesn't usually play on that position. He usually is more inside. So I hope same thing with you. He looked a little slow, but hopefully next week he's back at his right position and he's playing back up to good form. Because he was a little, I don't want to say irrelevant, but Leonard Williams has definitely had some better games. Leonard Williams.
I don't think Leo was irrelevant. I think he did well.
He wasn't irrelevant, but he did well. But he didn't
I think
like
him and
pop
Dexter
out.
Did pretty well on the inside.
Yeah, Dexter Williams had a really good game.
And even though he did look really slow and kind of wonky running when they put him on the edge, he put in work on the edges. I think they put him on the edge to probably match the weight of Jahad Ward. Like I said, he doesn't show he's 285, but like I might have to check. I'm pretty sure Jahad Ward.
They just went heavy on the edge because they do not want Henry to get by. That's why.
Exactly.
I think that's what it was. I think it was just for this week. I think it's gonna change next week.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something there, but let me get some comments from the chat.
Ash, you play Apex on Xbox? Or he's
no, Ash is a PlayStation guy. Xbox forever.
Cross-platform.
It's cross-platform. Amazing guy says Dable said he wasn't yelling at DJ. I got some news for you. He was
yelling at him.
I got some news for you. NFL coaches are gonna lie. It's the thing.
He
gotta get used to it.
He had the worst lie. He said I was talking
that I had my
he didn't even
headset
have
on.
the headset on.
Dable's head was as bald as the day he was born.
Yeah, they
when he
didn't
was
even
yelling
have a
at Daniel
headset on.
Jones.
I had to go back and look at it. I'm like, that was the worst lie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they just let him go with that because they don't remember if he had one on or not.
No.
And he was yelling at him. And I'll tell you what, Daniel Jones looked pretty scared to look at Dable because he knew he was there, and Dable was just staring at him. And then he was just staring at him. Didn't even talk. Just stared at him. And Daniel then looked up and then kind of pleaded his case a little bit. But yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. And then he says Dable could be lying about Toney then. What a great comment. And
I was just about to ask you that too.
To our next topic, let's talk about Kadarius Toney.
Know will play more, I guess, is kind of what.
I mean, bro, if I played 2 plays, 1 play, and we won, bro, I don't really care nothing about no getting in. Like, it's okay. You want $1? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
How much does a win help around here? You were here last year when there weren't a lot of wins. So
I mean, the win just basically boosts your confidence, you know what I'm saying? Just let you know that the hard work that you put in is, you know what I'm saying, is working. I mean, you can never just let up. I mean, it means a lot around here because, we come a long way from, you know what I'm saying, having hard times to this and that, adversity. And it's just like this year, I just feel like we overcoming our adversity. We learn how to deal with it different ways. And,
So first
Yo.
off, shout out to G-Man Galaxy on Instagram for that video. I didn't know it was just gonna cover Caitlyn. My bad, but just your immediate
It's
reactions.
okay.
Go ahead.
Yo,
You want $1, bro?
yo,
He cracks me.
He doesn't even try to be funny, but he's a media like if I'm a beat reporter, I'm going up to Tony all the time, bro, for real, just to get a laugh, bro. That man is so. You want? Don't mean it. You want $1?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Yeah. But listen, I think he, like you said, like he's just being himself. Like he doesn't like go home and like script what he's going to talk to reporters.
Yeah.
Like he literally just talk. But to his defense, you know, these reporters ask the
They get on
dumbest
him, man.
questions.
Oh
Oh
my
my God. You know, I must say though, like with the question on screen right now being, are you concerned with Kadarius Toney? As a player, no, I'm not concerned with him. I was that one play he had on Sunday where he took a step back, and that makes me nervous. I don't never go backwards. I always he just took one step and then was just weaving through people. But he had the ball like so loosely tucked under, and I was just like, what do you do? But he's like a magician when it comes
Was
to
that the play where it was supposed to be negative yardage, but he turned it into positive yardage?
I think he was supposed to be
double
throwing it.
pass.
They
It was
wanted
double
to.
pass.
Oh, that
they
one. Yeah,
wanted to throw
it was that
it.
one, and then there was one where it's supposed to be negative, and he turned it into positive, which is the best thing about Tony. Like you said, normally you'd say don't take a step back, but he always finds a way to make it positive yardage.
He would be the best flag football player in history, bro. He plays like it's flag football, and dude, nobody will be able to touch this guy.
No, and I think that's a great comparison because now that I'm looking, it's so lackadaisical, but he gets through with purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not concerned with him as a player. What I'm concerned with is that why are we not using him?
Mm-hmm.
I don't, the amount of times I had to like zoom in or like go up to my TV like on Sunday and look for names on backs of jerseys, like being like, where the hell are the 18 wide receivers that we have? Like I don't see a single person. I wasn't seeing him. I wasn't seeing Galladay. Or eventually throughout you just see, you know, Tony on the sideline. I didn't think it was going to change overnight, you know, coming into week one. I just really thought we were going to see some type of difference. And I think if you're going to, and this might be a hot take, so everyone hold on to your seats. If you're going to make the argument for Saquon Barkley or Daniel Jones being gone at the end of the season by not doing anything, if Kadarius Toney isn't doing anything either, or we're not using him, I'm done with it. It's a first round pick. And at this point, if you're going to call Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley a waste, we're moving into dangerous territory where Kadarius Toney is going to be a waste for us as well.
If he's not involved at all,
yeah,
then yeah, I would be kind of panicking. If he's not involved
having
at
a
all.
first
Go ahead,
round pick
Gio.
that you don't, having a first round pick that you don't use is extremely concerning. You know, when it comes to Kadarius, when you look at Brian Dable in his press conference, when he was asked about it the first time, he got extremely defensive. Like it was like a passive aggressive sort of defense. Like he didn't like aggress the media, but his answers were just so snarky and like kind of and he answered extremely fast. Like he already knew what he wanted to say and just threw a comment out there. It was kind of like passive aggressive, snarky-ish. So he's definitely hiding. We're probably not going to know what the real answer is. And I hope it's not I hope it's not concerning, man. It's not injury. It can't be he doesn't know the playbook because that's a DeAndre Baker thing. Like we would already know. I was going to say, that.
So that comment already popped up. It's been a theory that's been flying around. It's been one that's flying around since he was a rookie, which is unfortunate. But go ahead, Gio. You could start off. And
he's only entering his second season.
Yeah. What do you guys think about?
So he is technically a rookie in my book. He didn't play.
What do you guys think about the take that he's not knowledgeable of the playbook?
It can't be that he doesn't know the play, but there are players there that is the first year that they're there too. Like it's just there's new players there too. I don't understand.
They have playbooks in college. This
exactly.
Isn't new.
I don't understand. You're in the NFL. You're telling me that he doesn't know the playbook. Come on, man. That's definitely not. That's definitely not the reason. There's something else there. It might. To be honest with you, it has to be disciplinary. It's definitely disciplinary for me. It's just what is it? What is it? Like there was wasn't it who was it? Andrew Thomas that got disciplined by Joe Judge
That
in
was
his
Joe
rookie
Judge,
year.
yeah.
In his rookie
That was
year, and
stupid.
made him
This
sit
man
out a
took
whole
him out
quarter.
the game, bro.
Yeah, I think it was a whole half, right? It was the quarter.
Like Matt Pert was starting instead of Andrew Thomas. I'm like,
yeah.
what are
So
you doing?
you definitely see a lot of disciplinary stuff. I
Yeah.
think Joe Judge just came out and said it, wasn't it? It was
Yeah, Joe Judge said
disciplinary.
it. Now here's the
Daboll
thing.
wouldn't. Daboll wouldn't.
And you guys take this with a grain of salt. I mentioned before we start the stream that I came across some new information today, and this is technically old information. It's from August 25th. And I say take it with a grain of salt because we don't know what's true and what's not. It's also from beat reporter Jordan Renan. This was on Jordan Renan's podcast. I can't remember word for word, but the gist of what he was saying is that at that time, August 25th, it seemed like coaches were unhappy with Toney in practice, that he seemed very lazy in practice, very lackadaisical in practice. He'd be sitting around with his helmet off. Dable had to yell at him a couple times to, like, at a general area to put the helmet on. And when you look over, the only person with the helmet off is Toney. It seemed like he had to kind of be forced to participate in practice, is what Jordan Renan was saying. And if that's the case, is Dable, like you said, is it a disciplinarian thing? Like, you want to earn these reps by participating in practice. And like I said, with a grain of salt, I'm not sure how much of that to believe and how much of that not
I
to
don't believe it, because I think Joe Schoen and Brian Dable are very smart, even more with Joe Schoen. He's a businessman building out this new era of the New York Giants. So if that was the case, then we would have shopped Darius Slayton and we would have gotten someone, or would have gotten some type of money back to where we would have actually brought in another wide receiver that could have been. I know someone wrote in the comments that he doesn't think Toney's going to be gone at the end of the season, but we need to prove in a WR1. We would have done that. It's, to me, it's not believable at all. I just don't know what the hell is going on at this point. Because if that was the case, August 25th, we had all the time in the world to do something with Darius Slayton, but he's still on the team. He took a pay cut. You know, he didn't play last week. Maybe that'll be, I don't know, some savior of ours in the coming weeks. But I don't know, guys. I just don't, I can't believe that. And at this point, I think we're frustrated because it's like, what the hell is going on? And if you're not going to use him, cool. If you want to use discipline as your excuse, and if it comes out as that, then get rid of him then. I'm over it then. I'm not, there's nothing to where I'm so emotionally invested. I've loved, like I said, I spoke about that play from last week. That was incredible. And he did some cool things last season, but I'm not gonna like cry if he leaves the team.
I will
if
say,
he doesn't play.
to be fair to the Darius Slayton comment, I think they were shopping Slayton. Nobody wants this man. I think is what it is.
I think people did. I think people did.
It was probably not for the right price.
I was about to say it wasn't for a price that they wanted then, because it was like confirmed by multiple sources that they were shopping him, and like
they actually had
Slayton
calls.
basically
I saw sources. I think it was even Schefter himself said that there were actually people calling about Darius Slayton. But I mean, there's that. Tana brings up a really good comment and talking about, you know, how he didn't really set a good first impression because he didn't show up to voluntary OTAs, and I agree with that, because at first I brushed it aside. I brushed it aside at first when he didn't show up to camp. I was like, I'm not worried about it until the season starts. And when the season starts and this is still an issue, then I'll be concerned. It's a problem now.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
So I'm concerned. I wanted to wait to really be concerned.
Oh, did your mic disconnect? This man got too excited.
I stepped on my wire. My bad.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm concerned now. If it's all the way at this point where we're talking about it after the season starts and this is starting to come back around, then I'm definitely concerned. And I think it has to be probably disciplinary, actions.
We got a couple comments about the general wide receiving core is hell amazing. Guys says having Slayton as your 7th wide receiver, waiting in the wings for an injury is great depth. It is great depth. I'm not gonna lie. I told KB when I forgot that Darius Slayton was on the team, we were calling the game live, and then they randomly went to the sideline. He was in a blue jacket. I was like, wait a minute, my boy Richie James, who was somebody I love because I was at training camp, he's playing over Slayton. Like,
if I'm being honest with you, I think that's why. Like, Darius Slayton is better than David Sills, bro. Like, he's better. Come on. You think David Sills could have led this team in receiving for 2 years? Hell no. I can't. I won't believe it. I want to see Darius Slayton out there.
I want
to see him out there.
I gotta say, and shout out to Big Dash Knows. He was on the Just Chillin' podcast with me earlier tonight. So, Kate, you're new around this part of YouTube, and I'm sure anybody else that is. Young Guns is a joint podcast I do with me and KB. We rotate channels. Just Chillin' is my own podcast where fans call in. I had Big Dash. He's a content creator and big Giants fan as well. And he was like, David Sills, he brought up something really interesting, is actually one of the best run blockers we have on the team. And the reason we probably saw guys like him out there ahead of Darius Slayton is probably because that's exactly what we're doing for majority of the game, especially in the second half, just running the football. So there's something interesting to think about. And with that, I was like, maybe there is some slight truth to what David was saying with Toney. It's a package issue because I don't know how good Toney is in run blocking, but it's definitely not the whole truth.
No. Listen, I don't care what
Not blasphemy.
I don't care what scheme you're in. There is no shot that you say, damn, you know what? This Kadarius, your talent just doesn't suit this play I want to run. I got to have you on the sideline and only have you in for 7 snaps in the game. That's not.
So you say Dable was lying all around.
Listen, there's a play in particular. If you guys want to check a quick little shameless play, if you guys want to check out my film study, I just uploaded it today. You guys can check it out. There's a play where it was a dagger concept. So you got a dig route, you got a 9 route, and then you got the drag route, right? You know who was on the clear route? You know who was on that 9 route? Kenny freaking Galladay. And he is the slowest receiver I've ever seen run the football. And he was on the clear. He was on the clear route because they were trying to design a play to get Sterling Shepard the ball. And that's understandable. You want to get your good playmakers the ball. That's fine. You want to get Sterling Shepard the ball, but you know who you send to clear out there? Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney is a burner. He's going to get him out there. He's going to drag that safety all the way out. You can get the ball for Sterling Shepard. You know what happened in that play? A sack because Kenny Galladay couldn't get out of Sterling Shepard's way. They ran into each other on the route. So it was it frustrates me because Kenny Galladay, why he's getting paid $20 million. I get why he's on the field, but you got to put in Kadarius. You got to do it. I don't care what scheme you're
Kenny
in.
Galladay, right? He had a good amount of snaps, but he had how many targets? Was it 2 or 3 targets?
Nate, it was from the slot. And it was and it was a
no
clear
matter
route.
what.
It was a clear
no matter
route.
what, we got to find a way, and I say we, but the coaches and Daniel Jones as well, going back, we talked about the quarterback earlier, they got to find a way to involve this man. Otherwise, why are we paying him $20 million to do cardio on the field?
He was one of the people. I had like the magnifying glass. Where are you?
He's getting snaps, but it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's not like they're not involving him. They are. The ball just needs to get to him.
I'm starting to see a trend because it's the same situation that I noticed back in Joe Judge's era last year. Kenny Galladay is being put on the backside of these plays. He's not being put on at like the first read, which tells me that he's not able. That's the first thing that jumps out to me when somebody's put on the backside like that is because he doesn't have a good release. He's not able to create separation early, so he can't be that first read because he's always stuck on a defender. That's what jumps out to me. So I think Kenny, and you see Kenny Galladay when he runs his routes, it just looks like he's not interested in running the routes. And it could be him a little bit demoralized, right? Because he's being paid all this money. He's not being included in the plays and stuff like that, but he's got to like show some like motivation, like to show something that he wants to be out there. Cause I constantly see him hanging his head, like walking his routes, just jogging it. That clear route that he was in just didn't look like he cared too much, honestly, to be honest with you. Like, and I like Kenny Galladay. I was a big fan of him coming over here. So I'm not critiquing him just to critique him. I don't see the same energy that I see with all these other guys. And I'm not talking about how deep he cuts his routes because he's just not a route runner, but just him in general on the field. It's a bad vibe to me. It's a bad vibe. Kenny Galladay on the field.
Yeah.
What up, Diggy?
Yeah. Let me get your general thoughts on Galladay. You did mention earlier. I don't know if you included Galladay, but you mentioned Saquon and Daniel if they're not doing anything for us by the end of the year. We all know, is it after this year, there's an out year in the contract for Kenny Galladay. So what are you looking for in terms of that?
I think it's the same thing. I think the spotlight will continue to be on Daniel Jones and Saquon, no matter how well they play, no matter, how bad they play or mediocre we could get from the two of them. There are definitely a couple of other individuals that we need to look at as well. I think Kenny Galladay is definitely one of them. We brought him in and there was so much hype. And I think everyone has a right to be happy that we brought him on. I think everyone was, but especially just mapping out the play transformation that you had just did where, we can't see him as what we want Daniel Jones to do. And think about how many times on Sunday Daniel Jones had to pull the trigger and get it out right away. So we're not using Kenny Golladay. We're not giving Daniel Jones the time to scan the field. It's never going to happen. So it's if he's not fast enough, if he can't move and separate himself from the defender quick enough, then I don't know really what his reasoning is on this team. So
I just gotta say real quick, I did not realize
I didn't
that
notice
Spencer,
either.
I didn't notice until you pointed it out.
I
No,
must be dyslexic.
I actually am. So I know that
Oh.
I am. So that's exactly why I misspelled it
man.
and I didn't even realize.
I didn't. I totally just took that as concern. Boom, concern. It's
Exactly.
corn. Oh man.
Yeah, and then
That's funny.
since we're talking about contracts anyway, we didn't necessarily get into it. What are you looking for from Saquon for you to give him a legit extension, or do you want to even give him a legit
Yes.
extension?
Hell yeah.
Go ahead.
I would definitely love to give Saquon. I've always Diggy, don't start with the lyrics. It has the juice. Yeah, all right. Anyway, but Saquon, I would definitely I was waiting for this Saquon to appear, okay? Because first of all, I don't know why. I was nearly in tears when we drafted this guy. Okay. I've been a huge supporter of Saquon for years, ever since he's been with us and even in Penn State. Okay. So I want to resign this guy. I was waiting for him to break back out and show what he truly is, because everybody seemed to forgot that he's a top 5 running back talent in the league, and everybody just kicks them out of their top 10 list and stuff like that. I would love to re-sign Saquon Barkley. I think he's a generational talent. There's no doubt about it. He's a generational talent. There's things that this guy can do. There are runs that this guy made that you throw 31 other running backs you could have put in that situation and they would have been stopped. Okay.
And we ain't forget. Shout out to Ash. We ain't
conversion?
forget. Y'all said Devontae Booker and Wayne Gallman was better than this man.
That 2-point conversion, nobody. That
I liked Wayne Gallman.
That 2-point conversion didn't work. Let me tell you
Better
right
than
now.
Barkley though, nah.
That 2-point conversion did not work. Saquon made it work.
Yeah.
He did. Yes,
Guess what he did?
Yo,
He danced.
Evan
The thing
Neal-
that everybody hates.
Evan Neal, shout out to Evan Neal. He was great, but he got manhandled. He got thrown to the side, and the defender was staring right at Barkley. As soon as Barkley had the ball, Barkley turned it around. He's like, oh, damn, there's a guy over there. Let me just sidestep and completely juke out the defender. And he just turned the corner as quick as he does, has low center of gravity, and got right into the end zone. Dalvin Cook's not doing that. Derrick Henry for sure ain't doing that. Nobody's doing that besides Saquon Barkley. He's generational talent. I would love to re-sign this guy. I don't care how much you got to pay this guy. Of course, we don't want to go too overboard, but I would love to pay this man. There's not really a price. I'm not gonna lowball him, right? I'm gonna give him a fair price, whatever that would be where the market is at right now. I would definitely give it to him.
He's got to do a lot this season for me to, see his worth for us to
stay healthy.
I guess let me ask you the first question. What kind of contract do you want to give him, if any? That's the first question. And then from there,
5.
to get into the secondary, which is a legit extension, which is the whole 4 or 5 year thing. What he would have to
Orleans
do.
Darkwa, the original 26.
Oh my God, I miss Orleans.
Oh my God, I love that guy. I love Orleans Darkwa.
He was so good. Oh God. But I think I like the 5-year deal. I'm comfortable with. Like you had just said, I think that's okay. I think money wise though, we are particularly strapped, and I just don't want us to get into a situation.
And we have legit players that we got to re-sign. We were just talking about Thomas. I think this would be a great time to re-sign him before he wants more, or before he's going to be worth more. Xavier might be up soon.
I was going to say you have to look at people coming out of their rookie contracts. Xavier McKinney, if you're going to keep a strong safety out there. Listen, so I think the money's right and it makes sense for sure. I'm comfortable with 5 years because that's actually an actual easy contract to break if you need to, or to kind of restructure and kind of understand that. Because if you think about it, is Saquon your guy for the rest of, the X amount of years with the Giants, this era that we're starting right now? You just have to be comfortable at the end of the season answering that question. Yes. And right now I'm not there. I'm not at the yes. I loved this weekend, but it was one game. So I'm going to be a realistic, fan, realistic, watcher of Saquon. So we'll see. But I think at the end of the day, if it's this entire season, we're getting what we saw, I think I'm comfortable with doing that again, but the money needs to be right.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is, you don't have to give a specific number. You could say like maybe something in the top 5 area. Would you be comfortable with of what the guys are getting paid right now at that position, or is that
What's
too
the
much for you?
highest? Let me check that out.
No,
So
because
it's actually gotten pretty high. It's gotten pretty high.
yeah. No, because you know what? Too, the NFL, it's a passing game. It's gone so far away from a running
Maybe
game.
if you want to share that screen, I'll add it to the stream.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll be in the top 5 paid. I mean, if I see all of them right now, I don't know.
Let me pull
What up, Will? How you doing?
I struggle with that one.
Oh, Spot Rack changed their layout. That's cool. All right, let me use Spot Rack then.
Yeah, OBS also updated their layout.
OBS?
Like, it doesn't look like it's something out of the 80s anymore.
Oh, thank God. Well, it asked me to update, and I didn't. I just hit remind me later because it's always some crappy update. All right, let me share my screen.
Do you have it? Let me add to the stream right
Hold
here.
on, let me put it in.
And guys, once again, thank you all for popping in. Can't say it enough. Appreciate the support.
Did I freeze? Am I frozen?
No, you're
No.
good, bro.
I hit share screen, and I'm waiting for the thing to pop up, and it's not doing it.
You know what? I think
Got it.
I think
Got
I'll
it.
just. Oh, you got it. I was like, let me just do it. Yo.
Like my
There
whole
it is.
screen, my whole screen just froze. But
Oh my God, Zeke! I didn't know Zeke was the #1 paid running back right now.
so damn 90 million.
No, Saquon
But,
will not fit.
Yeah,
into
I'm not
that.
giving him a 6-year. Why would the Cowboys give Zeke a 6-year contract? Are they crazy? Alvin Kamara got a 5-year. Christian got a 4-year. Dalvin got a 5-year. Henry got a 4-year. Mixon got a
Maybe I'm
4-year.
leaning more towards 4 now.
I guess you can, like, I saw that a lot in the comments. They're going 3 to 4.
Yeah,
But-
I was saying 3 to 4 as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I want to make sure Saquon's here. You know what I mean?
I was gonna
But
say,
I can
yeah.
understand the injury concerns. I definitely understand
Yeah.
that. But they don't really exceed. I mean, Christian's getting 16. You know, Saquon's going to start at 17, right? Because he wants to be the highest paid on a yearly average. And Christian McCaffrey, obviously, everybody compares.
He's got to prove it though. He can't just say, "I
Yeah.
want that money."
But here's the thing. I think Saquon Barkley, I mean, even though Christian McCaffrey has had probably 1 or 2 consistent years, is that Christian McCaffrey has been hurt that more than Saquon has been hurt more
Yeah.
than Saquon, and he's still
We've
getting
seen
that
the memes.
contract.
Christian
Saquon's
McCaffrey has
instantly
been
going
hurt
to bring
just
that
as
up.
much, if not more.
Well, the
than
Panthers
Saquon.
have no one else. Like I know the Giants are slim pickings.
I was
too,
about to
but
say, who else do we have on offense?
that is their, like, when you think of the Carolina, that is their team. Like that is literally the only person they have, so they need to pay him.
So
I
you're
will say,
probably
put some
looking
respect on Brian Burns, though.
So you're probably looking right around, I would say 14 to 17 is what he would start with. 14 to 17 is probably end up with that too, because Dalvin Cook, I mean, he never finishes a season, so maybe his contract would look something like that. But he got a 5-year, but the yearly average isn't quite there. So I don't know why Derrick Henry just accepted that offer. That's a terrible deal compared to other running backs. Man, I got 4 years, 12 and a half, 12
It was
and a half
probably
a
the
year.
security. That's why 4 years.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of, except with the exception of Zeke and Kamara, all of these are like 4 years.
Yeah. We look at Alvin Kamara, 5 years, 15. Zeke 6-15. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, getting off of that, I guess now that you have a look at the numbers, what do you guys say? Oh, well, let's go with KB and then Kate.
Okay, I'll say I'll go down to 4. I'll go down to 4 and I'll give him. I'll start off, obviously negotiations and stuff like that, right? I'll start off with like 13. I guess we'll probably inch our way to like 14, maybe 15 range. But he's definitely gonna want to start at 17. He's gonna want to be paid as the highest, especially if he has a really good year. It's about what have you done for me lately, and he's gonna start off with 17, and we could work our way down from there, find a happy medium. But you'll probably find him around 14, 15, realistically.
Okay, Caitlin.
Yeah. I'll go to 4 as well. But I just think with everything that the Giants have going on right now, monetary wise, they just really need to be smart with the other players that they do need to sign. So I'm actually going to drop it down to 13.
Okay.
13. I think we have players that we got to keep in mind for sure, man. Andrew Thomas comes to mind. Azeez Ojulari comes to mind as well. Then, of course, Xavier McKinney, same draft class as Andrew Thomas, comes to mind. It's like we gotta do something. It all depends on
I
how
don't think
important they
Aziz
think
is gonna be
Saquon
too
is.
bad. I don't think Aziz is not gonna. He's not gonna
I
get
hope
too much
not.
money.
I mean, listen,
Yeah.
I probably am one of the only people that's like that high on him that I think he could get if he comes back in time, legitimate double-digit
Remember,
sack
if
numbers.
everything works out right, Kayvon should be our number one guy, and if he's a number two, he should know that he's not going to be
I
paid
would
number
disagree.
one
If
money.
everything works out right, we got two number 2 guys.
Yeah.
Two number two guys.
If
You mean
everything works
two
out
number
right,
one guys.
two number 1 guys. Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I meant. I said two number 2
I would
guys.
agree
Yeah.
with you, but I mean, especially with the draft
No,
capital. that
but
we use,
in the situation and phrasing of if everything works out right, I think that's the best case
I
scenario.
get what you're saying there, but like I feel like they drafted Kayvon to be the number one guy.
Of course, yeah. So before we close out the show, guys, y'all know I'm currently not sponsored by anybody. Not necessarily looking to get into it, but yo, listen, Mountain Dew, if you out there, hit your boy up. Okay?
Mountain Dew out of all brands, bro. What
Yeah.
are you doing?
Listen, bro. Diet Mountain Dew is
I
actually not that
I never
bad.
thought you would be a Mountain Dew guy. You know that?
All right. But if you do want to support me in some way, shape, or form, there's one thing you can do that directly supports the channel, and that is go over. Where is the Microsoft Edge tab? There it is. That is go over to my Teespring store and grab one of my merches. I got 3 new of them out this year. The Xavier McKinney one, which has probably been the most popular one, the comic book style of it. You know, the ball hawk Xavier. Then we got the big dog Aziz. Now I know Aziz isn't, he's currently injured, but he's gonna be back. I promise y'all he's gonna be back. You see what it says on the poster there.
Wait,
Pressure
you're
guaranteed.
You're not showing.
I'm not sharing the screen.
No.
Bro, KB, you couldn't tell me that earlier.
I didn't know if you. That's what you. I think you were
This
just
guy,
describing it,
bro.
but then when you said you see,
This
and
guy,
I'm like, nah.
I need a new co-host, bro. Anyway, the big dog. Now that the share,
Blaming me
the
for
screen
your
is shared,
errors.
listen, go over there, copy it. You see the design. You see what it
Can't
says.
see me,
Pressure's
Saquon.
guaranteed.
Get out my way, man.
Listen, man, get the big dog, and I'll go back and show the Xavier McKinney one over
cool.
here, which is the comic book one. This is the most popular one so
I love
far.
that.
Yeah.
And then there was the Joker one, but this is also one that's in jeopardy because we don't know what's happening with Mr.
Yeah.
Kadarius Toney out here with the
Man,
young Joker
he's being a
season.
joker. He's being.
And then, of course, the one that's selling a lot from last year still is the Lion King Leonard Williams one. This was the one that a lot of people got as well. So go over to Teespring, make sure you support the channel, and grab one of those.
I'll probably be buying that Xavier McKinney one. I love that.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah,
All
huge-
are
huge
designed by
Xavier
yours
McKinney
truly.
fan.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Leonard Williams needs to get back to that hairstyle that he was in. Now he tried the Derrick Henry thing, and it's not looking good.
I think
Yeah.
that was the problem.
It's like on top of that, why would he do that? He's playing Derrick Henry. How are you gonna give him that sort of respect like that? No,
I
don't-
wasn't. Yeah,
don't
he's
take
got to be
his
out
hair.
there wild and crazy. I love
Yeah,
it.
he's gotta have the fluff out, man. Come on,
Yeah.
show the mane. Show the mane.
Before we close it out, we're at the midweek point. I'm gonna ask one very simple question: yes or no? You got the Giants this week in Carolina's game.
I do.
You do. And KB?
Yes, I have them covering the spread. They're actually favored in this game, believe it or not.
I
Early on
saw,
in the
and I'm
season-
like, I would prefer them not to be favored. That's just me.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you because we've always had the underdog mentality, but it feels good, like being a favorite. Like it feels good just going into a game saying, "Hey, yeah, maybe the Giants are the better team here." Like I like that. I like that. So, I'll take Giants. I think the spread's at -2. And yeah, I got the Giants winning this game.
So that being said, guys, shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. We had a peak of around 65 or 66 people. I really appreciate it. Without y'all, the channel isn't possible. The podcast isn't possible. Thank you so much to everybody in there. Thank you to our guest, Caitlin, for coming on. And guys, make sure you show her support. Twitter link down below, podcast link down below. Any last thoughts, Caitlin, before we close it out here?
Honestly, I'm just very excited, to go into this season. Looking forward to continuing conversations, with creators like you. And I had mentioned earlier in the show, Giants Twitter is quite the community. So I'm so happy that these opportunities come, whether we're good, we're bad, we're in the middle, we're always together, we're always talking. And it's just been really fun so far. So I appreciate the two of you for bringing me on. This was a great opportunity. And yeah, let's go Giants.
For sure. Gio, my man. Anything else before we close it out?
Nothing. I thought it was a fantastic show. Caitlin, thank you for coming on with us, and also thank you guys the chat for joining us for episode 1 of the new era of the Young Guns. This is
And y'all definitely
exciting
shared it
moment.
out. I got a couple Twitter notifications that you
Yeah,
guys
I
shared
know.
it out,
My
so I
Twitter
appreciate
blew
that.
up like 20 notifications. So thank you guys so much for the support. It means a lot to us. We wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you guys so much. And yeah, let's go. Let's get this win in our season, our home opener, season home opener. So yeah, I'm ready.
That's
Go
it.
Giants.
Go Giants. Roll clip.